Hello everybody. I'm having trouble with my crowd noise today. And there it is. Kept wanting to play ads. Anyway, good afternoon everyone. I see Franklin's here. Hello Franklin. Kenyon's joined us. Hello Kenyon Gray. How are you, my friend? There's Unmitigated, Mike C. You can see Frank's pre-play at the top, 2-1 Boston. In the real life game, it was 5-4 Tigers. And I got a little bit ahead of myself. Yes, today's game is the Boston Red Sox at the Detroit Tigers. Game 501 on the schedule. This is the middle game of a 3-game set. The Tigers won the first one. There's Unmitigated. It's Tiger time. Unmitigated, no doubt, has a tiger by the tail. Starting pitchers today: Earl Wilson for Boston. Denny McLain, the Tigers' ace, will oppose him. And Wilson on June 14th to be traded to the Tigers. Yeah, for Don Demeter. Sounds like a good trade for the Tigers. I'm not quite sure what the Red Sox are getting out of it. The Tigers aren't really using Demeter anyway. They do need a starting pitcher. And it's hard to see how Demeter figures in the Boston outfield. You got to think Yastrzemski and Canigliaro are set. And the center field with Gosker. Who else has been out there? Thomas and Lenny Green. Doesn't seem like they really need Demeter. But anyway, that was the trade. Hello, Thomas. We'll look at the numbers here for the starting pitchers. Both workhorses. In fact, they worked the exact same amount of innings here. You can see that in real life, 264. Wilson on the year 4-3 with a 3.89. He's made a dozen starts, completed 2 of them. 90 1/3 innings of work. McLain has been marvelous. 5-2 with a 2.67, 11 starts. He completed 3 of them, and 2 of those were shutouts. 81 innings. Just 64 hits allowed in 81 innings. And onto the scene bursts Michael Reimer. Hello, Michael. How are you loving this weather, Michael? As much as I am, I hope. And there's Trent Smith. Hello, Trent. Yes, exactly, Franklin. That's what I was thinking about. They have one of those still on Route 66, of course. An old restored Esso station with the Tiger. And of course, it would be neglectful of me to not mention the Tiger Tails by Hostess. I don't believe they make those anymore. At least I haven't seen one in ages. Those were my favorite. Basically Twinkies with a raspberry frosting. It's probably good for my gut that they don't make those anymore. Oh, Thomas, that's perfect. I love it. Yeah, what about that one? I think there had to be a personality. There was definitely the personality issue involved in that one, don't you think? I think they just wanted Devers gone. After signing him to an insane contract, of course. Well, the contract is the Giants' problem now, and let's just hope they don't ask him to try to play first base, huh? Here's the lineup for the Red Sox today. Rico Petrocelli at third base once again. Jim Gosker in center. Carl Yastrzemski is in left field. George Scott, the cleanup spot, at first base. Joe Foy at short with his 5.88. Tony Canigliaro is in right. George Smith, the second baseman. Mike Ryan behind the dish. And Wilson, a good hitting pitcher, in the 9 spot. So what is today? The 8th. So Wilson probably gets one more start with Boston before the trade, I would assume. Yeah, it's a beautiful time of the year, Michael. It's too short, that's all. And there's Frank. Yeah, hi Frank. Sinclair with the dinosaur. Oh yeah, the mobile Pegasus. They have all that stuff on Route 66. What about the Atlantic Richfield Tower? He does have a great bat. And about the only thing he can play is DH. And I think that was the real problem for Boston. Okay, we're set to go here. That and his little temper tantrum when they asked him to play first base. Boy, Cora's in a tough spot, isn't he? You're trying to manage a team while your star player is feuding with the front office. And Ben Witz made it in, hit a little traffic there on the way to Tiger Stadium. A lot of Tiger fans among my regulars, I know that. Ben, one of them, of course. Let me see if I can do something with this screen, because I think Mookie may have adjusted it. Yes, he did. Okay, that explains why I couldn't read the stats. That's better. Thanks, Mookie. Here's Petrocelli. Petrocelli, 265, 4 home runs, 17 RBIs. Denny McLain into the windup, and we're off on a 6-9 righty. It's a high fly ball to center field, backing up his K-line. Triple to 3, and K-line makes a fine running catch for the out. How could we, Franklin? Here's Jim Gosker. It's been so long since I ate sugary cereal, I forgot what it tastes like. Gosker at 188, 1 homer, 6 RBIs, left-handed hitting outfielder. McLain's pitch is a 5-9 lefty. That's a high fly ball to deep right field. Backing up is Northrup at the track, at the wall. It's gone. Home run Gosker. Holy cow. And the crowd about as stunned as I am as Jim Gosker launches his second home run of the season. It's 1-0 Red Sox. By the way, Jim Odom calling the balls and strikes. Just over 9,200 in the park on this date in history. And that'll bring up the star of the team, Carl Yastrzemski. Yaz hitting 280, 7 homers, 24 RBIs. McLain into the windup. 6'9", left-handed. That's a high fly ball to right field. Backing up is Northrup at the track. Homer to 2. He makes the catch on the track. So Yaz gave one a ride. The long ball has been the one bugaboo for McLain this year. In 81 innings coming into the game, 5 home runs. That's not that bad. That's actually good. There's definitely some power on that card, especially for left-handed hitters. 2 away, here's George Scott. He's hitting .263, 11 home runs, which leads the ball club, and 31 RBIs, which also leads the team. The pitch from McLean. That's a 6-2 right-handed. Grounder down to third. Wirt will take it and throws him out. So the Red Sox settle for a run on a Jim Gosker home run. After half an inning of play, it's Boston 1, Detroit coming to bat against Earl Wilson. And let's go over the Tigers lineup for today's game. Dick McAuliffe leads off at shortstop. Jerry Lumpy at second base. Norm Cash, the first baseman. Al Kaline will play center field and hit fourth. Jim Northrup is in right field. Willie Horton in left. Bill Freehand will do the catching. Don Wirt at third base. And McLean, the pitcher, hitting last. Here's Wilson now. He's completed his warm-ups. And up steps McAuliffe, the left-handed hitting infielder, coming in at .214, 6 homers, 15 RBIs. I always like to point out the walks for McAuliffe. 28 for 131, but he's drawn 32 walks, so he has more walks than hits. Wilson gets the sign from Ryan. It's a 1-6 righty, and that's a high fly ball to right field. Canigliaro starts back, double to 6, and he makes the catch. Here's Lumpy now. Jerry Lumpy, .237, 2 homers, a dozen RBIs. Wilson's pitch is a 1-4 right-handed. He pops him up right side. Scott will take it. And quickly, there's 2 away. That'll bring up Norm Cash. Cash at .262, 10 home runs, 24 RBIs. Wilson gets the sign. The pitch to Norm is a 5'11 left-handed. It's a ground ball to second, fielded by Smith. Tosses it over to Scott, and it's a 1-2-3 inning for Wilson. And Detroit's GM watching the game thinking, I need to get that guy on our team. Where are we here? Foy? That's right. Joe Foy leading off the second. Foy, the leading hitter on the team, at .293, 8 homers, 18 RBIs. Denny McLean into the windup. The pitch to Foy is a 1-5 righty, and he hits a hard ground ball through the left side into left field for a leadoff single. No threat to run. Foy at first, and here's Tony Canigliaro. Canigliaro at .235, 7 home runs, 27 RBIs. McLean out of the stretch, comes in there with a 2-8 righty, and he pops him up. Shortstop McAuliffe will take it. And there's 1 away. Here is Smith. George Smith, the second baseman, comes into the game hitting .256, 3 homers, 17 RBIs. The windup and the pitch is going to be a 1-5 righty. That's hit high and deep to left field. That's going to be over Horton's head for extra bases. Triple to 3. It's going to be a double. Foy rounding, 1 through 11. Horton a -1 arm, 1 to 10. They will hold him up. So Foy stops at third on the double by Smith, and Boston has something going again in the second. Second and third, 1 down. And they're going to pull the infield in for Mike Ryan. Ryan, of course, not much of a hitter. 174 he's hitting so far, does not have a home run. Pitcher to follow. Here's the pitch to Ryan. It's a 2-7 right-handed. He pops him up. McAuliffe waving his arms. He'll take it. And that was a big out for Denny McLean. And now Wilson. No slouch at the plate. He's a 7 righty with end power. Infield moves back. McLean into the windup on a 1-8 righty. He struck him out. And McLean gets out of the jam. No runs, 2 hits, 2 left. Tigers trying to get back into the race. They started the season off red hot. And they've hit a little slump of late. And now find themselves as one of our 3 great underachievers so far in the replay. The other 2, of course, being the Yankees and the Giants. Detroit has lost 8 of their last 10 coming into this game, despite winning the first game of this series. And they find themselves in 5th place, 11 games back of the Orioles. So they're trying to right the ship. Of course, acquiring Wilson won't hurt any. And speaking of Wilson, he's ready to go in the bottom of the 2nd. Al Kaline will lead it off for Detroit. Kaline, the leading hitter on the club, his average up to .333 now. 8 home runs and 29 RBIs. Wilson gets the sign. The pitch is a 3-9 righty, hard grounder to 3rd. Petrocelli's got it and throws him out. Here's Jim Northrup. Northrup, the left-handed hitter at .263, 6 homers, 22 RBIs. The pitch from Wilson on a 2-10 right-handed, hard smash to 2nd, gloved by Smith, tosses it to 1st, and Wilson records 2 quick outs here in the 2nd. That'll bring up the left fielder, Willie Horton. Horton's 2nd on the team in hitting at .323, leads the team in homers with 14 and in RBIs with 35. This is the 49th game for Detroit. Wilson into the windup. That's a 1-6 right-handed. Called strike 3. Oh, Horton doesn't like it. He's barking at Odom. But it's a strikeout, and after 2 innings, it's 1-0 Boston. Having Wilson pitching for Boston against the Tigers is sure to throw me at some point. I'm trying to be very careful not to screw that up. How about that, Thomas? Thomas says Earl Wilson pitched and hit a home run in the first Major League Baseball game he ever saw. Roy Foster hit 2 for Cleveland. They beat Detroit 2-1 with Dean Chance picking up the win in relief. 3rd inning, top of the order for the Red Sox. Rico Petrocelli steps up to the plate. McLean gets the sign for Freeman. The pitch is a 5-7 righty. Swung on and missed. Strike 3. It's strikeout number 2 for McLean. And here's Jim Gosker. Gosker's home run, the only run of the game so far. McLean into the windup. 1-4 righty. It's a fly to left field. Horton drifts over and puts it away. No, I was not expecting another Gosker home run. 2 down, and here's Yaz. McLean with the pitch. That's a 6-3 left-handed. It's a fly to right field X. Tough chance for Northrup. Northrup a 4-7. Racing towards the line. On a 5, he's not going to get it. That's going to drop for a base hit. It's a 2-out single for Yastrzemski. Yastrzemski, a star 15 base stealer. Let's check the Detroit battery now. It's a good one. McLean with a -2 hold, and then you've got Freeham with that -3 gun. Yaz a 10, not held. He's not going anywhere. base running will be at a minimum with a battery of McLean and freehand. Here's George Scott, 0 for 1, grounded to third in the first. Denny McLean from the stretch. That's going to be a 1-5 right-handed, and he loses in ball 4. A 2-out walk to Scott. Yaz goes to second, and that'll get Joe Foy to the plate. Foy singled in the second. McLean staring in as the runners take their lead. Here's the pitch to Foy. It's a 4-2. It's a high fly ball to deep left. Horton back, going back on the track, puts it away. Well, Foy gave it a ride, but it's just allowed out to left. And for Boston, no runs, a hit, 2 left on. And it's still 1-0. Pitchers duel so far as advertised. Bottom of the third, here's Bill Freehand. Freehand on the season, just 203 average, 4 homers, 15 RBIs. Wilson gets his sign from Ryan. Here's the pitch to Freehand. It's a 3-3 right-handed, grounds it down to third, fielded by Petroselli, who throws him out. 1 away, and here's the third baseman, Don Wirt. Wirt at 243, 5 home runs, 16 RBIs. The pitch from Earl Wilson is a 3-9 right-handed, struck him out, called strike 3 as Jim Odom rings him up. And with 2 down, the pitcher McLean will be hitting. He's a 3 right-handed hitter. The pitch is a 5-6 right-handed, swung on and missed, strike 3. That's 3 Ks for Earl Wilson. That'll retire the side. 9 up, 9 down so far for Wilson. After 3 innings complete, it's Boston 1, Detroit 0. Denny McLean taking his warm-ups for the 4th. Hello, Colin. Welcome aboard. Yeah, me too, Frank. Maintenance crew is outside dealing with the wasp nest. I was unable to scare them off with the water. So with the yard crew coming tomorrow, something had to be done. Mookie is watching intently. He really wants to get out those things. I'm not letting him out there, obviously. We go to the 4th. Tony Conigliaro leads it off for the Red Sox. He popped to short in the second. McLean gets the sign from Freeman. The pitch is going to be a 5-8 right-handed, swung on and missed, strike 3. That's number 3 for McLean. And that'll bring up the second baseman, George Smith, who doubled in the second. McLean gets the sign. Here's the pitch now on a 5-10 right-handed. Catcher's card X. That'll be Freehand, the Gold Glover. Excellent catcher with a 1-E2. And here's the play. On a 6, it's a pop-up to the catcher, 2 down. Here's one of Michael's favorites. Not Michael Reimer, the other Michael. Mike Ryan. McLean's pitch to Ryan is a 2-9 right-handed, called strike 3. Ryan never took the bat off his shoulder. Well, that won't get it done, Ryan. 1, 2, 3, go the Red Sox. That is 4 strikeouts now for Denny McLean. And we go to the bottom of the 4th, still 1-0. Right, Colin? I mean, you think, how could a last-place team underachieve? Well, they're doing it. Bad in real life, even worse so far in this replay. And here's... Hang on, I gotta tell these guys something. Oh, they already left. crate's still there. They must have sprayed it again. I was able to knock the crate off of the porch with the broom, but it landed the exact opposite way I wanted it to. Oh no, they're back with the spray. They're hitting it again. Okay, now I'll tell them something. I was going to say I don't want that crate anymore. So don't worry about saving that. I was going to throw it away anyway. I'm just going to go get a little table or something. 'Cause I was using it as a table. Is that where the nest is?
Yeah, well, I broke the nest off, and then there were still some live ones inside of it. So anyway, now we'll come back. It's going to be fully dead after we get back to that.
Okay. Thanks, you guys.
You're welcome. Yeah, we'll look it around before we can kind of come back.
I gotta say one thing, the maintenance crew at this place, they're right on it. That's true, Frank, yeah. Giants in real life were in the race down to the last day, right? Or at least the last couple of days. Top of the order for the Tigers. It'll be Dick McAuliffe to lead it off against Wilson. Wilson into the windup. That's a 2-8 right-handed, and McAuliffe lines one into right field for a leadoff single. That's the first Detroit hit of the ball game. Wilson with a +4 hold, but McAuliffe with a 7 automatic caught. He's not going anywhere. And the batter will be Lumpy. Wilson working out of the stretch now. The pitch to Lumpy's a 4-7 lefty. That's a high fly ball to center field. K-line going back. Double to 6, and he's got himself a double. An open double to center. McAuliffe rounding 14. K-line, however, with a -4 gun in center. That makes him a 10. And they slam the brakes on at third base. Wait a minute, it's not K-line, it's Gosker. Hang on. I'm sorry. I got distracted there. See what happens? Gosker, a 0 arm. That's a horse of a different color. That's a 14. They're still going to hold him up with nobody out. So the Tigers in business. Second and third, nobody out in the heart of the order coming up. 1-0 game. Now it's Boston who will pull the infield in. That's right, Ben. K-line's not going to try to throw out his own teammate. In fact, he's on deck right now, so yeah, that would be kind of hard to do. Infield in, here's Cash. Earl Wilson checks the runners. Full windup on a 3-10 right-handed. It's a high fly ball to deep right field. Canigliaro back, gone. Norm Cash with a 3-run blast. And the Tigers jump in front 3-1. I think it's safe to say that he got all of that one. On a 3-10, it's a no-doubter. And for Cash, that's his 11th home run of the season. Here's K-line. Wilson gets a new ball, gets the sign, the windup. The pitch is a 1-7, and he walks him. Still nobody out, 3-1 Detroit. Jim Northrup steps up to the plate. Stormin' Norman indeed. And that's going to send Mike Ryan out to the mound. Okay, we're set to go. K-Line takes his lead. The pitch from the stretch is a 4-6 left-handed. It's a high fly ball to center. Going back is Gosker. Triple to 4, and Gosker makes a fine running catch for the out. That's the first out of the inning. And that brings up Willie Horton. Willie struck out in the second. Wilson into the windup. 3-6 right-handed. It's a liner towards second. Single to 8. Through for a base hit. One base advance. K-Line stopping at second. That would be more of an infield single, actually. And the Tigers now seem to have figured out Wilson. Wilson, 9 up, 9 down in the first 3 innings, but he's getting hit here in the 4th. And here's Bill Freehan. Still nobody throwing in the Boston pen as Wilson comes set. The pitch on a 3-2. It's a hard grounder to third. Petrocelli goes to Smith for 1. On to Scott. Double play. That'll end the inning, but 3 big ones for the Tigers on a 3-run blast by Norm Cash. And after 4 innings of play. Wait a minute. That's only 2 outs. No, it's 3 outs. Northrop flew out to center and then the double play. I'm guessing the lag time. There's more lag time than there used to be with my old internet. I noticed that. Frank Wilson's not a former Tiger. He will join the Tigers on June 14th of this season. And that confusion, I knew at some point I was going to look at the wrong defensive chart. And I did. Wilson will hit in the 5th, partly because it's too early and partly because he's a good hitter. McLean into the windup. That's a 2-5 right-handed, and that's going to be a base hit up the middle for Wilson. Yeah, Wilson can swing the bat. He was used many times in his career as a pinch hitter, in fact. Here's Petrocelli. He's 0 for 2. McLean working from the stretch. Comes in there with a 1-6 right-handed. Called strike 3. Petrocelli strikes out for the 2nd time today. 1 away, and here's Gosker. Gosker 1-2 with a homer. Hello there, Julio. Welcome in, welcome in. Chuck Rawlings is present. Runner on first, 1 out. The pitch to Gosker is a 5-10 left-handed. That's catcher's card. That's going to be, of course, Freehan again. A 1-E2. On a 13, it's going to be a ground ball B. Freehan leaps on it like a cat, fires it down to McAuliffe for the force. What a play by Freehan. That's going to go down as a web gem. Runner on first, 2 out, and here's Yastrzemski. Yastrzemski 1 for 2. McLean gets the sign. The pitch is a 2-8 right-handed liner right at Lumpy, and that'll end the inning. No runs to hit, 1 left. So McLean gave up a first-inning homer to Gosker, and he's been in control ever since. Wilson, on the other hand, looked untouchable for 3. Then he got lit up a bit in the 4th. Don Wirt will lead it off in the bottom of the 5th for Detroit. He struck out in the 3rd. Wilson gets his side. The pitch is a 3-11 right-handed. It's a grounder to first base. Scott to his right. Throws it to Wilson covering. 1 away, and here's McLean. Wilson's pitch to McLean on a 5-11 righty. He grounds it to third base. Petrocelli charges it, fires it to first. 2 away, and here's McAuliffe. The pitch from Wilson is a 6-7 lefty, swung on and missed, strike 3. That's number 4 for Wilson on the day, 1-2-3 inning. We've played 5 complete. It's 3-1 Tigers. A little bit more on the Tigers underachieving. Came into the game 23-25. In real life at this point, they had 29 wins. So they're 6 games under their pace, on their way to an 88-win season. I feel pretty good about them, though, especially knowing they're going to get Wilson. That's exactly what they needed, another good starting pitcher. Scott, Foy, and Canigliaro in the 6th. George Scott 0 for 1 with a walk. Denny McLean gets the sign from Freeman, and here's the pitch on a 2-4 righty. He lifts it the other way to right field. Northrup is under it, and there's 1 down. Here's Foy, 1 for 2. McLean's pitch on a 2-5 righty. He loses him, ball 4. 1 out walk to Foy. And here's Tony C. He's 0 for 2 today. McLean, a check of the runner. Now from the stretch, the pitch to Canigliaro is a 5-9 right-handed. It's a high fly ball to deep left field. Backing up is Horton. At the track, at the wall. It's off the wall for extra bases. Homer to 13. He rolls the 18. That's going to be a double. Foy rounding. 11-13. K-line with a -4 gun. 9 with 1 out. No way. They're going to hold him at 3rd. So K-line's arm does come into play. Eventually. Tying runs in scoring position, and George Smith at the plate. Infield will remain back. Smith 1 for 2 today. McLean checks the runners. Full windup now, and the pitch on a 5-10 right-handed is catcher's card. 3rd X chance for Freehan, a 1-E2. Here's the play on a 12. It's the E range. It's a 4 on an E2. And he makes the play, but a run will score. It's a ground ball C. So that's going to go 2-3. Foy scores, Canigliaro to 3rd, and it's a 1-run ball game now. 3-2 Tigers. 2 down, and here's Ryan. Walk Ryan to get to the pitcher? No chance. Here's the pitch for Ryan. It's a 4-7 righty. Well, I guess there is a chance. He walked him. Just not intentionally. Or maybe it was one of those intentional walks. In any case, it's runners at the corners, 2 away. And Wilson will hit. McLean's pitch to Wilson. It's a 2-6, and Wilson with a 2-star single ties the ball game. His second hit of the day. How about that? Canigliaro scores. All the way to third goes Ryan. Second hit of the game for Wilson, and he helps himself out in a major way there with a game-tying RBI single. Now it's McLean struggling this inning. 2 hits, 2 walks, and Freehand's headed out to the mound. McLean 8 for starter endurance, so no issues there. I believe Wilson's a 7. Let's check that. Yep, he is. Wilson a 7. Here's Petrocelli. He's 0 for 3, struck out twice. McLean staring in to get the sign. A pitch to Rico on a 3-7 righty. Base hit into center field, and the Red Sox take the lead in this back and forth battle. Wilson will stop at second. So it's an RBI single for Petrocelli. Ryan scores. And it's 4-3 Red Sox. And we welcome Al into the chat. Wilson's probably a better hitter than Ryan, wouldn't you say? Here's Gosker now. McLean having a rough inning. He's trying to get back into the dugout. Here's the pitch to Gosker. That's going to be a 3-7 righty. Fly to center, playable. K-line is there, and that will do it. But Boston scores 3 runs on 3 hits, so they leave a pair. And they take a 4-3 lead to the bottom of the 6th. And on that note, that's right, I need some more coffee. Now that the Wasps have stopped their action, Mookie has calmed down as well. He really wanted to get at those things. Bottom of the 6th, it's Jerry Lumpy, and then the heart of the order. Tigers trail by 1. Lumpy 1 for 2 with a double. Wilson into the windup. That's a 2-5 righty. He grounds one towards second, fielded there by Smith, who throws him out. Well, Lumpy grounds out to his opposite number, and here's Norm Cash. Cash with the big blow in the game. 3-run home run in his last at bat. That's going to be a 5-3 left-handed, a grounder to the pitcher X, 2E28 for Wilson. And here's the blow. On a 12E range, an 8 on a 28, that's going to be an error on Wilson, and Cash is aboard. First error of the game. Well, Julio, I'm just heating it up. You know that, right? Or do you mean you don't like what it does to the coffee after you nuke it a little bit? I think it does take a little away from it, but not much. Not for 25 seconds anyway. What I do when I make my pot of coffee in the morning, I pour it into a warmed carafe, and that keeps it warm most of the day. But by this point in the day, it needs a little help. Okay, Cash at first, K-line at the plate. Wilson out of the stretch. Pitch to K-line is a 5-3. Another grounder to the pitcher X. Here we go again. 2E28. Here's the play on a 16. 6 on a 28. And it's another error by Wilson. Can you believe that? Back-to-back errors by the pitcher Wilson. And the Tigers are in business. That's going to send Ryan back out to the mound to try to settle Wilson down. Wilson is obviously very upset with himself. Thank you for clarifying, Julio. I thought that's what you meant. Because they actually do have microwave coffee. And it's really bad. I mean, really bad. Yes, indeed, Ben. They did find a flaw in Wilson. First and second, one down. Here's Northrup. Northrup 0 for 2 so far. Wilson gets the sign. The windup on the pitch on a 6-8. He pops him up right side. Smith waving his arms. He'll take it. And the runners hold. 2 down, and here's Horton. Runners take their lead. The pitch to Willie Horton is a 4-6 right-handed. That's going to drive in a run. 2-star single, triple on a 1. That's going to drive in a run. It's a 2-star single for Horton, and this ball game is tied as Cash crosses the plate. K-line all the way to third, and it's a 4-4 ball game. What a game. Holy cow. I'll try that, Julio. Thank you. I don't doubt that it has to have some effect. Here's Freehand, who's grounded to third both times today. 2 down, Wilson's pitch. That's going to be a 6-10 right-handed grounder to shortstop X, and that's trouble. That's Foy, 588. And here's the play on an 18. He makes the play to end the inning. Oh my God, I don't even believe it. We're just going to make that 6-3X, side retired. But Detroit with a run on a hit, that'll be an unearned run as far as Wilson's concerned. But after 6 innings, it's a 4-4 game. Hang on, what did Chuck say? I missed this. Arkansas pitcher Gage Wood no-hit Murray State today for the first CWS no-hitter since 1960. How about that? That's definitely worth mentioning. 119 pitches. Yeah, good point, Franklin and Ben. My water is filtered. And honestly, it wouldn't even really need to be here. I do it as an added precaution. I mentioned before Spokane with one of the better water tables in the country, at least supposedly. One thing I don't miss about California, all the water problems. That and of course the expense. That's the main thing. Truth be told, if I could afford it, I'd still be there. But I can't. That is kind of surprising, Ben. I thought the same thing. Part of the order for Boston as McLean gets ready to work the 7th. Yastrzemski will lead it off. He's 1 for 3. McLean with a 6-10 left-handed. He pops him up. First base sides. That'll be handled there by Cash. And here's Scott. Scott 0 for 2 with a walk. McLean into the windup. It's a 4-6 righty, and he walks him. Second time today Scott has walked. And here's Joe Foy, 1 for 2 with a walk of his own. McLean from the stretch. Here's the pitch on a 3-6 righty. Called strike 3. Foy not happy. Odom rings him up, and there's 2 away. And that'll bring up Tony Canigliaro. 1 for 3 with a double. McLean staring in to get the sign. Here's the pitch to Tony. It's a 1-4 right-handed comebacker. McLean's got it. Takes a couple steps towards first and tosses it over to Cash, and that's the inning. As we stretch, it's a 4-4 ball game. That doesn't surprise me at all, Julio. Because of the granite, right? I mean, that's my guess anyway. I don't know. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. Oh my God, Franklin, when I was down in Texas City, Texas, that's the worst water I've ever seen. And that was 20 years ago. We're going to take a look at Mookie. We're going to, hello, Gerald. We're going to take a look at what's left of the Wasps as we stretch for the 7th. Oh, and Frank, you'll enjoy this. You can see it or not. That's all that's left of the old bag in the hopper. When that's gone, you guessed it, the moment you've all been waiting for. No, I'm anxious to try it, seriously. And there's the star of our show, Mr. Mookie. Say hello, Mookie. Meow. Meow. Yeah. Did they take your wasps away? I see them flying around a little bit still. So they knocked the nest off. It's down there in the bottom back corner. You can see the white thing there, maybe not. I still see some of them buzzing around though. Anyway, they're going to come back in a couple hours and finish it off. Mookie's goofing around. He's kind of upset, though, that they killed all those wasps, because he kind of wanted to do that himself. Didn't you, Mook? No, you just get stung. You get the crap stung out of you, buddy. Oh, yeah, and I got some Gorilla Tape to enforce that screen in the bedroom. You can't see it now because of the curtain. But anyway, he has not escaped since I enforced the screen. You can see Gorilla Tape on the counter there. Oh, wait, they're back. Hang on, let's prolong our 7th inning stretch for a moment.
They're a bit confused.
Now you can see what's left of the nest. That was a big nest.
Yeah, it popped up pretty quick for how big it was. They definitely did some work in that amount of time.
Well, I'll tell you, I didn't even know it was there, and I came out Saturday evening to pull my chairs out of that closet. As soon as I set that chair down by the crate, they
Got
just
swarmed.
swarmed me. I only got stung once, which is pretty good considering.
Yeah, for how many there was, yeah, that's getting out pretty lucky.
I would say. And then, of course, Mookie's trying to get out and get at him. I think that about wraps up the saga of the wasps. Oh, yeah, definitely. Did you see that poster, Julio? I was actually at that show. Long Beach, 1974. I'm pretty sure that's right. Could have been 73. I think it was 74. Okay, back to a very good game here. For Earl Wilson, his first inning of potential fatigue, he'll be looking at Wirt, the pitcher's spot, and McAuliffe. A lot of Tiger fans here. I'm going to throw it out there now. Would you hit for Denny McLain? I don't think I would, but I welcome your opinions. In fact, I think it goes without saying, if you see anything strategy-wise, just shout them out in the chat. I may not always do it, but I'm a big fan of the comments and the opinions. Okay, Wirt 0 for 2. Wilson into the windup. That's a 1-9 right-handed, a hard smash to third. Backhanded by Petroselli, who wings it across to Scott. And there's one out. And I'll give it a little minute here. WD-40, that's interesting. Ben says leave him in. I was leading that way anyway, so the motion is seconded. McLain will hit. Wilson with the pitch. That's going to be a 2-4 right-handed grounder to third. Petroselli again. And there's two down. Here's McAuliffe now, 1 for 3. Wilson gets the sign. 4-4 lefty. It's catcher's card X. That's Ryan. Ryan, a good catcher in his own right, a 2E3. And on a 2, it's a pop out to the catcher, side retired. So a 1-2-3 inning for Wilson. We're through 7 in a 4-4 contest. My thinking being that McLain, with a slightly better endurance rating than Wilson, should be able to outlast him. We'll see how that plays out as we go to the 8th. It'll be the bottom of the order for the Red Sox, and now the same question applies to Wilson. Of course, Wilson's a good hitter, so he's got that going for him, but he's due to bat third here in the 8th. My thinking, honestly, I'm inclined to let both of these guys go as long as they can. Big surprise there, right? Smith's 1 for 3 as McLain comes set. Here's the windup and the pitch on a 4-7 righty. He walks him. Lead-off walk to Smith. And here's Ryan. Smith takes his lead. McLain from the stretch on a 5-6 right-handed. Grounder to short. That's going to be 2. It's McAuliffe to Lumpy to Cash. Double play. And with 2 out and nobody on, Wilson is going to bat. McLean's pitch for the right-hander is a 5-2 righty. It's a high fly ball to deep left field. Going back is Horton at the track, at the wall. He makes the catch at the wall. Oh, my goodness. Earl Wilson gave it a ride. It's just a loud out to left. 1, 2, 3, go the Red Sox. No, that's not true. It was a walk and a double play. Excuse me. I beg your pardon. Mookie now watching intently. Is it gone, Mook? He's really confused. Lumpy Cash and K-line in the bottom of the 8th. Wilson's second endurance inning. For some reason, I can't quite get it to. Why won't it stay? There we go. Sorry about that. It didn't look to me like all of the cards were in frame. Okay, here's Lumpy. Wilson set to work. The windup and the pitch is a 1-7 righty. It's a fly to center field. Playable for Gosker. He's there. There's one down. Cash 1 for 3 with a home run. 3-run shot back in the 4th. Wilson into the windup. That's going to be a 4-10 lefty. It's a shallow fly to center. On comes Gosker. He just does get there, and there's 2 down. Here's K-line with 2 down, nobody on. 0 for 2 with a walk as Wilson comes set. The pitch on a 6-2. It's a base hit up the middle for K-line, a 2-out single. Now let's check the battery again. Wilson with a terrible hold, +4. Ryan is 0. That makes K-line a 17. They're going to hold him on at 15. 2 through 5 to the lead. He's caught on a 10. He's rolling for the lead. 2 through 5. Caught on a 10. On an 11. Oh, that was dangerous. Next pitch to Northrup. 5-5 left-handed. Liner towards first. Single to 2. Caught by Scott. And we go to the 9th inning, still tied at 4. Both starting pitchers still in the game. You've got to love it. Let me take a moment here to make sure we're lined up. I want to thank everybody for watching. This has been a good one. Looks like they're just in frame. Good enough. Unless, of course, we go to extras. Top of the order for the Red Sox. Petrocelli's 1 for 4. McLean gets the sign, the windup, the pitch on a 4-3 righty. Grounder to the pitcher X. McLean a 1-E-0. Doesn't get any better. On an E range of 7, he is out. So McLean showing Wilson how it's done. That's a good point, Ken. You know, y'all do the flip-flop. Which is how I play it. I mean, if you were doing a realistic replay, if you're really trying to do a stock replay, I think a lot of guys probably wouldn't do that, but that's how I do it. So it's more of a what if than a replay, although the starting pitchers and the starting lineups are accurate. But at the end of this half inning, Petrocelli and Foy will exchange positions with one another. Here's Gosker. McLean into the windup. That's going to be a 4-9 left-handed. It's a high fly ball to deep right field. Going back is Northrup. It's gone. Can you believe it? Jim Gosker does it again. Gosker came into this game with 1 home run. He's hit 2 today. Let's take another look at it. 4-9 lefty. He has the power. And Jim Gosker, with his second home run of the day, gives Boston a 5-4 lead. And that's going to get Larry Sherry up in the Detroit pen. This reminds me of that Bob Costas story. Who was his guy? Oh, damn, I can't think of it now. Gary Geiger. There you go. I knew it sounded kind of like Gosker. Gary Geiger. Here's, it's 1 for 4. McLean into the windup on a 2-8 righty. Liner right into the glove of Lumpy. 2 down. Here's George Scott. McLean into the windup. That's a 6-7 right-handed. A grounder to second base X. Tough chance for Lumpy. A 4-E-8. Here's the play on a 19. Lumpy is there. Tosses it to Cash, and the side is retired. However, the damage is done on a home run by Jim Gosker, his second of the afternoon. So Foy goes to third. Petrocelli goes to short. What else have they got? Everything else looks good. Wow, Julio, you're the first guy I've ever heard say that. Well, not everybody is for everybody. That's a good point, Frank. Yeah, 2 of them did it in the last game. Whitfield and Mandel. Wilson going for the complete game. Don McMahon loosens up in the Boston pen. It will be Horton, Freehan, and Wirt for the Tigers in the bottom of the 9th. Willie Horton 2 for 3 on the day. Wilson gets the sign from Ryan. Here's the pitch. It's a 112 righty, and he bangs it into left field for a leadoff single, and the tying run is aboard. Willie Horton with his 3rd hit of the day. Let's check the bench now. Tigers not known for their speed, that's for sure. Stanley is 1 better runner than Horton. Not really worth it, I don't think. Stanley a 1 through 14, Horton a 1 through 13. I never thought of that, Frank, but yeah, I'm with Ben. Freehan 0 for 3. And he squares the bunch. It's going to be a 9B, and that'll get the job done. I don't do it very often, but Freehan has really not played up to his card so far. Tying run in scoring position, 1 out. Don Wirt steps to the plate. Gates Brown comes out into the on-deck circle. That's right, Unmitigated. I'm listening. Wilson pitching to Wirt. He's 0 for 3 today. It's a 3-12 righty, and he hits him. We got a roll for it. He takes his base. And up steps Gates Brown. Brown on the season, 16 for 50. It's a 320 average. 4 home runs, 10 RBIs. First and second, 1 down. Wilson, full windup. The pitch to Gates on a 3-7. Fly to center field. Playable for Gosker. He's got it. And the Tigers are down to their last out. It will be Dick McAuliffe. Larry Sherry ready behind him. Wilson checks the runners. The full windup, the pitch to McAuliffe on a 5-7, swung on and missed, strike 3. And Wilson goes the distance, and Boston holds on to win it 5-4. I'll have the totals in just a moment. There was no way I was pulling Wilson unless he tired. Two complete games. McLean, the hard luck loser, drops to 5-3. Wilson, with the win, improves to 5-3. Well, Frank Wilson's as good or better. Well, maybe not. I mean, is there... Okay. Is there really a huge difference? I show it to you and ask the question. Yeah, that's right. It would have been McMahon, Julio. Thank you. I was looking at the wrong bullpen. Very similar cards, really. So these two teams have split the first 2 games of the series. There will be one more. Wilson goes all the way, allowing 4, 5, 6, 7 hits, 4 runs, 3 of them earned. He walked 1 and hit 1. Walked 1 and hit a batter. 4, 5 strikeouts, including the last out of the game, which is always exciting. McLean allowed 4, 5, 6, 7 hits, 5 runs all earned. He walked 3, 4, 5. Quite a few walks for Denny McLean. He struck out 2, 4, 5, 6. I couldn't have put it better, Unmitigated. Tigers continue their underachieving ways. Boston, 5 runs, 7 hits, 2 errors. Detroit, 4 runs, 7 hits, no errors. Player of the game has to be Gosker, doesn't it? That'll be the highlight game of his season. His second and third home runs of the season. Holy cow. You really think so, Frank? Well, thanks. It wasn't really that gutsy. I mean, with 2 good starters going, it's not unusual for me to push him to the limit. It's one of the things I like about the old years. Speaking of underachieving teams, on tomorrow's game, it's going to be the Giants at the Astros. The great Juan Marichal on the mound for the Giants. He'll be opposed by Mike Cuellar, so that sounds like a good one. Usual time, 1:30/4:30. That's about it for me. I'm going to get out of here and get something to eat. Thank you once again, everybody, for watching. Please join me tomorrow. Take care, everyone, and have a wonderful evening. Bye for now.